Hello, you are here. That means you're very keen on understanding how the IPM program is delivered at IIM Rohtak. And in this particular episode, when I was having a conversation with the students, you would get an understanding, or what I was able to understand is what exactly their normal life looks like at IIM Rohtak. What is the rigor? What exactly are the clubs? And specifically, how exactly the program is delivered, the little nuances which will help you understand if IPM at IIM Rohtak is the place for you. I hope this episode helps you. So let's go.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Sanika Mate. I am your mentor, your friend, and your guide, welcoming everyone to you in a Campus Insider session, the Campus Insider. And today we would be targeting IPM at IIM Rohtak. We will know everything about IPM at IIM Rohtak. Now, a lot of you have questions where you are asking what is basically IIM, or not IIM, but IPM at IIM. Now, let me give you a little brief story about it. Okay, the pedagogy, or the flow of UG and your undergraduate studies, which is your आप जो कॉमर्स 12th के बाद में आप जो 3 years करते हो और plus then you want to do your postgraduate, which is masters. That was the flow. IIM Indore came up with this particular idea in 2010 that they would do a program. They would start giving access or admissions to students right after 12th and give access and entry in IIM, where they would be able to complete their 3 years with IIM as a foundation of BA or BBA. They can exit in case if they want, and if they don't want it, they can continue with a certain. There are always criterias, and after that, they can continue with IIM Indore for their MBA process. With the same thought, IIM Indore have now completed good 14 years. And if you look at IIM Indore, they give entry to all the students through a entrance test, which is called IPMAT Indore. The same is with Rohtak. The Rohtak provides admission for IPM, which is Integrated Program in Management. Any student who have cleared their 12th or have secured minimum 60%, there is always a criteria for category students, which is around 55. So any students who is within the age of 21 till 31st July 2020, the admission year, this is something based on the last year, eligibility. That particular student will be eligible to apply for the entrance test, which is IPM Indore or IPMAT Rohtak. And there are 5 IIMs: Indore, Rohtak, Ranchi, Bodh Gaya, and Jammu. 5 IIMs offering IPM. There are two another IIMs: Bangalore, which is offering an online program which is called BBA in Digital Business Entrepreneurship, if I'm not really wrong. And there is a new one which is IIM Sirmaur, which is offering BMS, which is a 4 year program. Okay, this is mota moti about the courses available with IIM and IPM as a whole. Why IPM? Because you get to study in IIM right after 12th. Why not? The pedagogy, the kind of faculty, the kind of peer group, the exposure is something which every one of you would love to be with. Okay, and it also secures your seat for an MBA. And in case if you want to appear for CAT, possibly you can start in the second year, appear for CAT, but you still have your seat secured for MBA in the current IIM. Okay, so that's about IPM. I hope that helps. Is that information enough? Quickly raise of hand. Information enough? Some parents could be great, great. So this is about IPM. So any student in 11th appearing or just in moved into 12th, they can start preparing for IIMs. They can start preparing for entrance test. IPM Indore, IPM IPMAT है और हम जो कर रहे हैं, which is Rohtak. Again, one of the very good ones. You will have to appear for IPMAT Rohtak. Okay, so let's start with our session. All right. So today, before we start with the session, quickly a good round of introduction. I want to introduce you to all my students here. So we have Krisher, we have Vivan, and we have Angel, who will be giving us all the insights for the IIM Rohtak, as they all are in the second year and pursuing their IPM. They have experienced the campus, they have good information and knowledge, and I'm sure they would be able to provide us with a lot of details. So let's start with Angel first. Angel, can you please switch on the camera and introduce yourself to our parents and students?
Oh, hello everyone. I am Angel Sidhu and I'm currently a second year student at IIM Rohtak. I'm pursuing the IPM program. I have been born and brought up in Delhi. So, as far my academic profile goes, in 10th I scored 97%, in 12th I scored 96.8%. And in addition to IIM Rohtak, I had also gained admission in Symbiosis BBA program, NMIMS Mumbai BSc Finance and BSc Economics, Jesus and Mary College, Delhi University BCom Honors. And so last thing before you all asked me about my indoor score and whether I got selected or not. So I had cleared the exam, given the PI, and secured All India rank 91.
Ooh, wow, that's good. That's amazing, Angel. Thank you so much. Next, we have, yes, Seekan is saying, wow, that is definitely wow. Krisha, next, please, can you introduce yourself to the parents and the students?
So, hello everybody, I'm Krisha Kansal. I'm also born and brought up in Delhi. As for my academic profile goes, so I secured 96.4% in class 10th and 98.2% in class 12th. Before appearing for IPMAT Rohtak, I also appeared for CUET UG, and there I secured 100 percentiles in three subjects. And then I got admission in IIM Rohtak. But before that, the Indore score as it goes, I missed the cutoff by a single question. So that was all about it.
Or okay, thank you so much, Krisha. I think that was very, very helpful. Last but not the least, Vivan, can you please introduce yourself?
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Vivan. I was born and brought up in Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. As far as my academic profile goes, I got 97.4% in 10th and 98% in 12th. So, when I was starting preparation for IPMAT Rohtak, I was very confused back then. So, I gave the whole range of entrance exam. You wouldn't believe me. I even gave CLAT. It's an exam for law students. I appeared for that. So, I'll tell you about that. So, I secured AIR 1000 in CLAT. I got selected in NLU Patiala. That was the first exam I gave. After that, I appeared for Munji. I appeared for Symbiosis. CUET, I scored about 780. So I got selected in Hindu College in the first round. But IIM Rohtak seemed the best choice for me looking at all those because an IIM after 12th is basically a dream. And that was why I chose this college. And now I'm here as a second year student. And my in-law score, like my peers, I cleared the exam, but my AIR was 100.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, all three of you. Firstly, I just want to kind of take this moment and appreciate all three of you because you guys have taken out time. And thank you so much, Krisha, Vivan, and Angel. I mean, I think I spoke to Angel and Vivan just for like once or twice, but Krisha, thank you so much for getting everything together. I really appreciate that. Now I will be bombarding you with questions. So, parents and students, I have certain set of questions which I would be asking them. In case if you have questions, please make sure Q&A is the place where you put it. I will make sure that I will pick it up and I would, we will address those questions. Okay. Starting with Angel, ladies first here. Okay. Angel, starting with you. Tell me, you have just given us an understanding of like, yeah, kaha, how exactly it worked out. Tell me, how did you decide Rohtak is the place? What was the thought process?
Yes, so thought process mainly when that first of all there were places like Symbiosis, Narsi, and even Christ for that matter. I applied there as backup options. Main options for I think any student right now would be CUET or it was only for me. But I wasn't very keen on Delhi University personally. Though I'm from Delhi, I wasn't very keen. Both my parents are Delhi University alums, and they personally felt that seeing the kind of like rigor I want and the kind of subjects I want to pursue and the kind of curriculum. So IPAT was the first choice. So that's why I came to about Rohtak. And because so in the my top priorities and it was mainly the curriculum first of all. And also I'll personally also say this that you don't have the scope to only waste time. Like, you'll waste time only if you have the scope. There's a scope to waste time. At the end of the day, you end up being a lot more productive than you would have been anywhere else. So that was the main reason.
Okay, fantastic. So you had your own reasons that beyond DU you wanted to kind of move out of DU. Fantastic. What about you, Krisha?
So my perception was a little different. When I started for preparing for IPMAT Indore and Rohtak, so the moment I gave mocks, started preparation strategy, I soon began to realize that maybe the kind of difficulty I'm facing here, the high level of difficulties waiting for me in CAT. So if I'm not able to crack here or there, so that would be not a cakewalk for anybody, like not for me, not for anybody. So अगर अभी clear हुआ तो CAT is also very difficult. So it's better to go out here because it's like what do you call say a cheat code to get it into any IIM. So for me, when I started preparation seemed to be difficult. My mock score seemed to be quite low. So I said, okay, means CAT bhi thoda mushkil hi hoga. So it's like go out here because it's like just a cheat code to get into an IIM. So after that, yeah, that was my main reason for selecting IPMAT.
Okay, so is it right to kind of say, Krishay, ki security in IIM is what you get in terms of future is concerned, ki IIM se kam se MBA karke niklunga?
Of course it is, because the moment you get into an IIM for an IPM program, 3 years may after 3 years you get an MBA. But obviously at the third year you can appear for CAT and secure a admission at a higher IIM if you get into. So you have both around. So it's a win-win situation for you. So it's not a lose game for anyone.
Fantastic. Last but not the least, tell me, what was your perspective? What was your journey to decide ki bas itna clad de specifically? What made you decide ki Rohtak?
Actually, like you said, Rohtak, theek hai. I had literally no idea till I'd given all the entrance exams where I'm going. You can see how spread out my exams were. I went for law, I went for CUET, NARSI, Mundi Symbiosis, I gave everything. But the decision I took was at the absolute end. See, CUET results had come out. I had secured Hindu, and there was a chance that I would get into SRCC into the next round. So at that moment, the decision was whether I'd stay close to home, go to DU, do that up down every single day, and do that, or I'd go to an IM, get that environment, work harder. You don't have to work that much in DU. You know, the environment is very dynamic in an IM, so you have to really work there. Both my colleagues here can back that up. They're both top 5 students in our batch, so they know what working hard is really like. So that's really true. So I came here so that I can mold myself. You really need to build up your personality, and IIM is the place for it. You have presentations, you have everything, you interact with everyone, and this is really the place to build yourself up, in my opinion.
Okay. I think I got a perspective from all three of you, and all three of you have given one perspective. There is one, something is coming direct, something is indirect, is the fact that, as Krisha said, cheat code hai, but it's also giving you security. It giving you that brand of IIM, which kind of gives an assurance कि यार future थोड़ा set, ठीक है? But मेरे को एक चीज आप है, which is a question I keep on getting from a lot of parents who feel possibly the otherwise. I think it's very small set of parents, but it does come. What exactly the peer group what you get? Admission process may definitely a lot of you are above 90. That is something which is a clear outcome. Okay. How is the admission ke baad mein when you kind of land in Rohtak? You tell me something. Is the peer group very, very competitive? Vivan, let's start with you. Competitiveness and making sure that you have that peer group which is supporting also. Do you find that particular thing with Rohtak?
So before we discuss about competitiveness, I'd like to clear one point up. You talked about everybody has at least 90, but that is not the case. My friend Satvik, he didn't secure 10th and 12th marks above 90. But when you get a stellar performance in the entrance exam, you still have the scope to get to the IM. So you don't lose hope. If you're not above 90, you still have that idea and still maintain the motivation. Now, coming on to your question, can you repeat the question once?
Sure. IIM ka peer group. Normally, what happens is this is the time when every one of you would learn a lot about, you learn a lot from your peer group, right? What kind of peer group do you get with IIM specifically with Rohtak?
So what we basically call our batch is a mini India. So we've got the north, we've got the south, we've got the west, we've got the east. Students are coming from everywhere. So see everywhere, north, south, east, west, everybody has different schooling curriculums. So you get exposed to your friends. We know everybody has come from different schooling backgrounds. They have a different pedagogy. As you said, the college combines everyone into one, and we develop friendships from people all around our country. Like it's a really new experience. You get to be really open with everyone, and when everybody feels the same pressure, they have to give the same exams, and they have to appear for the same interviews, they have to do the same presentations together. Naturally a supporting environment develops with everyone. Krisha was one of the first friends I made when I arrived at IIM Rohtak. Personally, we clicked really at the beginning. Firstly, we were from the same place. That was a really important criteria in the beginning. But as time passed, I got friends from, my roommate is from Telangana. I've got friends from Bhopal. This is something that I didn't have before I arrived there. So this college really opens you up. It really helps you get that exposure from everywhere. That
Which
is what.
is really nice. Angel, Krisha, anything you would like to add to what Vivan have said? I think he kind of summed up pretty well. But anything do you think he's missing in terms of the competitiveness with your peer group, and how exactly helpful, because you're away from your home.
So yeah, so the point is the teachers that the lecture when the lectures end. Okay, for example, for a particular subject, the lectures are and after 20 days you have exams. So the point is the teacher might be a foreign faculty who just comes and delivers the lecture and goes back to his place. Now in these 20 days, when you have doubts arise, where will you go? ChatGPT doesn't answer all of your doubts. So you actually come to your peers who will end up answering all those questions. So at the end of the day, it's like you gather, assemble in a place, answer all your questions, gather new insights, and the peer group is such that whenever I want to do something, it's not that I am the only one. There's always somebody else who also want to do something. For example, if you want to participate in some competitions, whenever I message in the group, anybody up for this competition, there are 10 people messaging me. Yeah, yes, bro, I'm here. Yes, bro, I'm here. So it's like whenever you want to do something, you just go out to your peers. Everybody's available. Whenever you want to do something new, go to your seniors. Seniors have done already what you want to be. So you just go to them and they'll guide you in the best possible manner. So that's the best part of I am Rohtak, I think.
Fantastic. So you have variety of students in terms of different backgrounds and cultures. You have supportive seniors. And at the same time, I think guys are bonded well. Angel, anything you feel you want to add to that?
Yes, so we have a relative grading system. So our marks are not really just dependent on what we are scoring, it's also dependent on what others are scoring. However, I feel like even the diverse list of subjects that we have. So it's like at one in the same term right now, we did sociology, and on the other hand, we did business algorithms also. So they're like different subjects that you're doing. So not everyone is specialized in every subject, So even after having relative grading and being like so diverse in terms of our backgrounds, everyone does end up helping each other. Like I remember last year there was this one subject, I think information systems or something. I couldn't just figure out what to do in that subject. The 8 or 9 of us, 2 days before the exam, we were sitting, and one person out of us was teaching some concept, the other one was teaching something else. So that ends up happening because there's so many different subjects. Not everyone is specialized in everything. So we all there's healthy competition, but it's not a get toxic. Everyone ends up helping each other out. Even if you ask them 1 minute before the exam and they're rushing, they'll help you out somehow.
That is very sweet. It was a very important question, because when parents want to send away their kid, to a place like Rohtak, it's IIM though, there is always a little bit of worry. And this was a very, it was an important question to address those parents, the questions which they might have in their hand. They kind of create their own family when they move to campus. And Rohtak definitely kind of puts this thing very clearly when they are speaking about it. One particular question I have here, Krishet, is for you. Which stream was taken by you? As in, are you a commerce student or a science student? Okay, so
Commerce.
you're a commerce student. All right. So I hope that answers the question. Is IPMAT Rohtak is better choice, and how difficult paper pattern is of IPMAT Rohtak? There's one of the questions which have been asked by Mehek. Three of you have appeared for Indore and Rohtak, both. Angel, starting with you, Rohtak and Indore, which one is easier? And can you give a little insight on the paper pattern for Indore and Rohtak?
So I can only speak about the paper pattern that was there in my year.
Go ahead.
Yes. So in our year, the exam was very easy and the indoor exam was very difficult. So what happened is, but at the end of the day, I think whether it's easy or it's difficult, it doesn't end up mattering a lot because there's a cutoff and that's not decided. So it depends upon what everyone is scoring. Like I remember when we got out of the Rohtak exam, a lot of my friends had also given that exam. Everyone was like, it went so well. We knew all these questions. We did these this much, this much. People were there who had attempted way more questions than me. They just left like 1 or 2 questions. I remember I had left at least 7 to 8 questions because I was like, no, I can't compromise on my accuracy. A lot of them didn't end up getting in because at that in that year it wasn't a paper that tested how well you can solve everything. It was a paper that tested how well you can choose the questions. How well you can choose that. Okay, this is the question. Do I want to take a chance here or do I not want to take a chance here? And coming to Indore, I feel it's very quant heavy. Rohtak, in my year, at least the quant was on the easier side only. Whereas Indore, the aptitude section, that's pretty difficult. So that's one thing that one has to focus on. But at the end of the day, I think the cutoffs more or less bring everything to an even ground. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
Okay. Vivan, Krishe, would you like to add to that particular question? No? Okay. Let me add now. Because I deal with this every day in and day out. What is the difference between an Indore and Rohtak? Indore, as Angel said, she said absolutely correct, quant heavy. But there's one thing which really makes both the paper on a difficult and a moderate level. Indore has sectional cutoff. इसका मतलब अगर इंदौर में पेपर पैटर्न है क्वांटिटेटिव एबिलिटी में शॉर्ट आंसर्स, क्वांटिटेटिव एबिलिटी में एमसीक्यूज एंड वर्बल एबिलिटी, बट ये सारे सेक्शंस जो क्वेश्चन आते हैं, पहली बात तो वो तीनों सेक्शन के पर्टिकुलर टाइमिंग है, 40 मिनट्स 40 मिनट्स 40 मिनट्स, तुम लोग को टाइम में वो सेक्शन कंप्लीट करना है, and the cutoffs are decided for the section. So for example, let's say your maths is good, you cleared the quantitative ability QA का MCQ और short answer, but verbal ability में 1 mark के लिए you will not be selected. That what makes Indore a little more tricky. With Rohtak, the paper pattern is quantitative ability, which is QA, LR, which is logical reasoning, and then verbal ability. और इसमें sectional cutoff नहीं है, overall cutoff है. Questions are 40 40 40 and the times what is required is 120. Negative marking है, +4 -1. Same thing goes with negative marking for Indore also. But Indore, where they have sectional cutoff, makes the whole ball game a little more tricky. So मेहनत किस में लगती है? इंदौर में. ऐसा नहीं बात है, बट अगर इंदौर क्रैक कर लेते हो तो कि सब भी क्रैक हो सकता है. हम ये अज्यूम कर सकते हैं ऐसा होता है. A lot of students who crack इंदौर पर somehow उनका रोहतक नहीं हो पाता है या कभी जिपमैट नहीं हो पाता है, which is for Jammu and बोध गया. Okay, I hope I have answered the question, Mehak. I just hope that kind of gives you that particular, clarity for the question you have asked. Now, we spoke about the pedagogy, we spoke about the admission process. Can we return to the left question while attempting Rohtak question paper? Krishay, this particular question, would you be able to take it up while you're giving, when you're giving the test, a question chhod diya, so last mein can we go back to the same question?
Of course you can. Like in Indore also, you can go back if it is in the same section.
Right.
But yeah, if it is the same section, and in Rohtak you can switch easily between sections. So it's not that you can't. Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely. Now let's take up questions because मुझे questions Q&A में बहुत आ रहे हैं. So we'll take that particular question. Okay. Ishan is also asking, does BBA also has options like BBA BNA and BBA IB? Which one is better and how to choose? Ishan, I'm not too sure if you're asking about this for Rohtak because Rohtak doesn't give you that option. BBA branding and advertising, BBA international business, these courses are normally offered by NMIMS Mumbai campus. So I think if you're looking at what is a better choice for yourself, it need to be addressed on a my plan. Okay, so just book a my plan with your mentor and I think they would be able to help you out. Okay, and try put your questions in the Q&A because I will have to juggle between the chat box and the Q&A section. Okay, now let's take the next question. Even after being selected by Indore, why did you choose Rohtak? Who was selected for Indore here? Vivan, Krishay, Angel, none. So none of them have selected for Rohtak. They appeared for Indore. Okay, so the question is, why did you select Rohtak when you were selected for Indore? They appeared for Indore. None of them was selected for Indore. They appeared, but the cutoff, as we just discussed, because of the cutoff, it was not really an opportunity for them. Hence, they moved to Rohtak. I hope that clears the question for you, Abhiram. Please explain how did you manage academics and IPMAT prep? What was the timetable? Priyansh, this is something which is a question I think which every student asks right now who is preparing. So I think let's just take a little, pointers from them what they need to focus because he had detailed information. Let's start with Vivan. Vivan, tell me balance quickly in pointers.
So 12th class, you have board exams. Balancing is not really easy. You have to prepare for that. So you have to allocate time. You have to study daily, basically. Board exams, you have to study daily for it. IPMAT, you have to build a schedule. If you're not studying daily, if you have exams, you have to know when what you're doing. You have to keep that focus. कि आज मुझे ये 10 क्वेश्चन कौन से करने हैं, कल मुझे 10 क्वेश्चन इंग्लिश के करने हैं, और you're gonna divide according to sections or you're gonna divide according to the whole paper. So the point is you have to know what you're doing and you have to build that schedule accordingly. So for me, I did not start preparing for IPMAT before I gave CLAT. So because I was giving CLAT, I focused on it for a month or two. That was an exam that I just gave for security purposes. So that really helped me with my verbal ability section back in IPMAT Rohtak. So when I was done with CLAT, then I had my pre-board exams, so I focused on that. But when I was done with them, I started focusing on IPMAT Rohtak properly I attended coaching sessions daily. I went offline. They gave you assignments daily and you solved them the day, and then you had a lecture the day later. So I set targets and I followed them every day until I was done with the syllabus.
Fantastic. I hope that kind of gives you, a perspective. Angel, Krishay, would you like to add something to this? Something jo aapne kiya ho?
Personally speaking, I think Sanika will hate me for saying this. I had no timetable. Every mentor told me practice every day. Never have I done that, and I don't think I can do that. I've always done things like when I feel like doing them. So personally, what worked for me was that I regularly attended the sessions. That was the only regular thing I did in my preparation. So I would regularly attend the sessions, hear the entire thing, solve all the questions that were given in the sheet, and then what I personally did is I gave a lot of mocks because for me I don't have very good attention span, so I can't just sit and do questions. I'll start looking at my phone or start doing something else. So mocks helped me like focus because the time was going off. So you have to anyway sit for 2 hours at one place, and that helped me analyze also which topics I am lacking in and which ones I good at. So and that helps a lot in Indore because there's very limited time. So you need to know that okay, I can't solve all the questions. These are topics I'm good at. I'm only focus on these questions mainly so that my accuracy goes. So that was something I did. And coming to how I balanced it with boards, so I would study for IPMAT, keep on giving my mocks. Exams, again, I'm the kind of person who doesn't study from the very start. I study at the last moment only. So then again for school exams, however, when the school exam and the boards were going on, at that time, I didn't really touch anything related to the entrance because for me, I can't do 2 to 3 things at once. I need to focus on only one thing at once to get like the maximum output from it. So that was something I did. Don't really follow me that really. If timetables work for you, please try to sit and study for like more hours.
Okay, absolutely. And yes, I would be summing up the whole thing for the students. Krishay, कुछ ऐसा जो आपको लगता है और ऐड करना चाहिए?
No, I guess they covered all the points that
They
I
covered
followed.
all the points. Absolutely. See, balancing board and test prep. This is the most tricky one. But the idea is to each its own. Angel को timetable नहीं जमता है. A lot of mentors would say time management करो, timetable बनाओ. But अगर आप if you are a person who feel कि timetable is not for me, मत करो. But make sure the focus is given equally somewhere by not even following the timetable. Make sure that it is kind of looked at, every particular section is being looked at ताकि last में chaos ना हो. And just do whatever works for you. Look out for guidance is what my only suggestion would be. Look out for guidance, look out for mentors who would suggest you कि तुम्हारा path सही है कि नहीं, because अंधेरे में तीर नहीं मार सकते हो ये. You need to make sure that whatever you are doing, it is hitting. Is it kind of going in the right direction? Mocks are very important. Okay, so make sure you give as many mocks as possible. It is just kind of make sure that you know how exactly things would be. And पे भी focus करना है भी रहने दो. So that's what exactly you need to do. Now moving to the next question. With Rohtak, when you are applying for Rohtak, what is that one skill which you need to have apart from good academics, which you guys have realized looking at your peer group, looking at your seniors, ki ye skills I can see that a lot of students have. Who wants to go first? I'll leave it to you guys. Krisha, you want to go first? Vivan, just unmute yourself and let me know that you feel that this skill, you feel कि रोहतक में ये बहुत काम किया है, मेरे लिए किया है या किसी और को मैंने देखा है that it has worked for them. Skills we are talking about.
So I'll go first, guys.
Go ahead.
The most important skill apart from academics is communication. I think both of them can agree with me on this part that communicating, communicating with seniors, communicating with professors, communicating your ideas to your peers itself, that is a skill that you really need to develop because your ideas, see, there are two aspects. One is how you imagine your own ideas and how you convey them to the public. So you have to create a cohesion there. When you match your ideas with yourself and when you are able to match your ideas with the crowd. So that is a skill that you really need to learn because in an interview, you never know what you're going to be asked. So you have to have your ideas sorted and your personality sorted to be able to answer those questions clearly. So communication is a really vital skill and academics isn't going to get you anywhere if you cannot tell everybody about your academics. So you have to have that clarity and that perspective that can get you forward.
Okay. Angel, Krisha, would you like to add something to that apart from communication?
I think consistency is also one thing. For example, I haven't seen a good performer in college who don't study at all for the rest of the term, just study 2 days prior to it. I don't think so. There is a guy who just do that because the point is you can't really do that. You have projects, you have assignments, you have quizzes right before the exam. So if you just do 2 days before exam, you will end up preparing for quizzes, projects, and assignments, and not for the exam. So consistency during the entire term. If the thing is taught in the class, go read it about it, then go for the next day again, do the same thing. You have to be consistent. Even in the IM, before IM also, I think consistency matters a lot. If you're consistent, I guess results will definitely approach you some or the other. So I guess consistency matters a lot.
Communication skills, consistency. Angel, what about you? What do you feel?
Not personal skill, but a trait that would be helpful to have for mainly interviews and even ahead is confidence, I feel, because a lot of times in Nor and look in the interviews only, you first entrance exam only, you need to have confidence in your own abilities only, then can you attempt something well, Then you can decide, okay, I know this, I can attempt this. And then coming on to the interview, like personally for me, my Rohtak interview didn't really require this a lot. But in Nor, and even some people that panelists, they'll try to confuse you. They'll ask you repeatedly, are you sure? Are you sure? Like in the 15 minutes, my panelist was just asking me, was I sure about a very basic question? So confidence helps. And even when you come here, after that also, you have to be confident in your own ability. You have to explain to people that, okay, this is like ideas. Vivan talked about that. So you have to convey, okay, I have this idea. I'm confident in it. And now I need you to be confident in this idea and be with me on this. So that's something that really helps in all the stages.
Absolutely. Now, as we spoke about communication, we spoke about a consistency, we also spoke about confidence. Students don't get intimidated by these key. I lack confidence. Everybody lacks confidence. It's just that it's a very good way we all develop as we grow to make sure we overcome that nervousness and portray ourselves as, as confident. In this whole process, there will be mentors who would be supporting you and would be teaching you. Interview questions, a lot of you have asked about interview questions. You have to understand, we cannot pick up interview questions because हर एक बच्चे का interview question अलग होगा depending on the profile the student has. I can't give you list of questions, but I can give you some जो कि आएगा ही आएगा. Every, not even let's say Rohtak interview, but even if you sit for an interview, let's say for symbiosis, it will be asked. Prepare your introduction. There is one question which will be asked. Tell me something about yourself. ये चीज हर मैं interview questions की list नहीं दे सकती. So tell me something about yourself. Prepare about why you want to join Rohtak or any university. ये लिख के pointers हैं. All this will help you. ठीक है. So every one of you asking, ma'am, questions नहीं बता पाएंगे, उसकी वजह है because everyone would have asked अलग question पूछे. I'm sure Vivan के questions Krishak, Angel को भी पूछे and vice versa. So I can't give you the list. I'm sorry about that. Once you reach a point and once we start doing the mock interview, we have question bank. So every question which a student is being asked who is taking guidance from IMS, we take those questions and we make sure that that is something which has been shared with the student where at least they can prepare, because it also too overwhelming for that point. So right now I don't want to overwhelm you guys, so just prepare a good introduction for yourself. Okay, if you
So
feel it's, yes, go ahead, Vivan.
I'd like to add something about interviews. Everybody's really worried about interviews, you know. It really gives you that stress. Ki, I got past the exam, but what will they ask you? So trust me, I'd like to tell you interviews need to be approached as an interaction rather than questions and answers. Back when I gave my symbiosis interview, they asked me to review a movie. They asked my friend what the routes from the metro to the college is. So interviews are not always going to have really bad questions. They will just test your conviction and your ability to stay firm with your ideas. So it's not always going to be really hard for you. You really have to just possess confidence in yourself and not worry about the outcome.
Absolutely. Well said, Vivan. Okay, there's one question which somebody, Daksh is asking me. Please tell me how you built your vocabulary, as vocabulary plays a very prominent role in these exams. I would completely agree to that. This is something which was taught by the verbal mentor and it is still being followed. Whenever you read a newspaper, normally people say Hindu, the Hindu, you would find a lot of difficult words in the articles. So read न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल्स, बुक्स, अंडरलाइन डिफिकल्ट वर्ड्स कि अरे ये तो अलग ही बोल दिया, किसी ने कुछ बोला ही नहीं, जैसे कि डायबॉलिकल, ridiculous, ये छोटे छोटे होते हैं, हमको पता नहीं होता है. Look out for the meaning of that particular word, and then what you do is you try to use that particular word in your normal conversation at least 2 to 3 times. Okay, it's a diabolical situation. So this way you increase your vocabulary. you increase your you kind of better the pronunciation while you are speaking, and you get confident for using that particular word. Okay, so this is a little tip and I hope that helps. Does your profile really matters a lot for the admission? The holistic perspective is what they really follow, but the entrance test के बाद में interview बहुत what you speak, how you are answering to the information, all that definitely matters. Let's take up the next question. I have a lot of questions. Now let's move about campus life. How is the campus life? A lot of fun things which we would be talking. बहुत serious बात कर ली हमने. Okay, let's start with campus life. Campus में बहुत important होता है attendance. Okay, let's start with attendance. Krisha is always smiling about when we talk about attendance. Okay, Krisha, what is the attendance required for Rohtak?
It's 80%, 80 percentage of any subject, like in classes you have to attend. And the point is, nobody actually exactly 80%. Most of the students, they attend 100% of the lectures. Reason being, you have 10 lectures before the midterm, you have 10 lectures after the midterm. You have 20 lectures covering the whole subject. So it's like 1 by 20 is a great percentage of like it's like 5%. Every lecture is covering 5% of the entire curriculum of that subject. So even if you miss out that 5%, it's you lagging behind and everybody moving forward. So most of the students like go for 100% attendance, and like if you still miss out classes, what do you do? You sleep in the hostel. That's not a better alternative. So it's like attend the classes. That's it.
Fantastic. Now, next question is how the day starts with Rohtak when it comes to campus life. Vivan, let's start with you.
So for some students, the day starts with yoga. The people that really want to attend yoga, when you're worried about like your fitness or your well-being, you will attend yoga. But when it's at 6 in the morning, it is good for you, but you'll really not be attending it a lot. You should be attending it. Personal experience, it's good for you. It is associated with you going out sometimes, not always. But my day, sometimes it's not there. Then I'll go wake up, I'll have a bath, and then I'll head out for breakfast. See, breakfast is something that a lot of students miss out on here because they wake up, they head out straight to classes. But it's good if you build a schedule from early morning and then you start, you have your breakfast. Then students like Krishay who have the consistency, they really embodies consistency. If I tell you about that, he'll attend every single lecture. He wakes up at 7 in the morning. Attends breakfast every day. Then he spends 1 hour in the library revising all his concepts. Then he reaches the class, and then his day goes exactly like that. 10 to 5:20, we have 4 lectures. So you attend every single lecture if you want to be consistent like Krishay and get grades like a topper. So you do that. After that, we have snacks at 5 o'clock. When you're done with snacks, then the day is for you.
The
When you're
day is
done
for
with
you.
snacks, then you have to decide what you're going to do. Are you going to study? Are you going to relax now? And whatever else you want to do. Now they'll tell you about other stuff.
Other stuff. So let me ask, Krishay, very clearly Vivan has put up that if you want to be kind of making sure the numbers are good, follow the path which Krishay is following. So students, in case if you guys go to a hostel, just make sure the timetable is followed the way Krishay is following. Consistent, okay? Angel, with you, just wanted to understand what exactly, apart from the day, apart from the attendance, what exactly a day-to-day campus life looks like. Do you get time for yourself? As Vivan said, 5 o'clock ke baad mein time mil. But do you get time to play, sports or, to hang out, to just unwind? कि बहुत पढ़ाई होती है.
So coming on to sports, the people who are into sports in the campus, they are playing it every day. There's no such issue. I think when you like something, you end up making time for it. And coming on to other stuff, you do find time for yourself. Again, you have to be organized. You have to like understand, okay, I'm taking out time for myself right now. So then I'll have to cover this up. The curriculum, it is rigorous. I won't lie or sugarcoat it. It is rigorous. Our till midterms, we get approximately 1 month, and after midterms also, we just so there are 2.5 months only. So before midterms, you're getting 1 month. You have to do 7 subjects in that 1 month. So it's not like it gets like you end up doing because if you're listening in class, you're following what the professor is saying, you're able to do it also. And also, as I said, the subjects are so diverse, you don't really need to put in that many hours in every subject. Like there are subjects like language skills in English, presentation skills for that matter. You don't really spend that much time on them. Most of us just study 1 hour before the exam only. So you do it as rigorous, but at the end of the day, I think if you manage it well and you know that okay, I can take out time for this, then you end up finding time for other things as well. Like most of us in that 1 month only that goes up till the midterms, we end up studying covering the subjects as well, doing our projects, doing case competitions, and otherwise wasting all the time that we have. So it's not really that you don't find time. It's just that you have to know that you have to put in the work at some time.
Okay. So what we got to know is rigorous है. Sugarcoat कोई नहीं. IIM में पढ़ना है, तो you will have to put in efforts. Vaibhav, yes, they do take out time. So if you like something, you will be taking out time to play badminton, to play outdoor games. And as Krisha said, there is always someone available to you to join you if you want to play or if you want to apply for a competition. Rohtak will give you that campus which kind of is good. So if you are looking at a campus which provides you with everything, then it will be a good place to go for. Divyank is asking, does Rohtak has Mumbai kids in current batches? अरे क्यों नहीं होंगे? सिर्फ दिल्ली से का मतलब थोड़ी मुंबई के बच्चे नहीं होंगे. We do have a lot of students who are from Mumbai as well there. I know them because we have students who have joined Rohtak and who are very much from Mumbai. So I don't have to kind of confirm this. We are well aware that you would find students coming from Mumbai, Delhi, all across the India, you would find students there. So yes. All right. I have a lot of questions. Before I move to placement, let's try to see whatever academic questions we get, we will answer them. Okay. I want to know, does 10th and 12th standard marks matter a lot? Does it matter? Who want to take it up? Just unmute yourself and, we will do this quick, rapid fire.
Yes, like there is criteria for marks also, and otherwise, if there's not any explicit criteria also in any entrance examination for that matter, I have seen that I know a couple of people who had like below 90% or like no marks. So in the interviews might question you on that. They might grill you on that you have low marks, and otherwise also a large portion of your interview gets made up of academic questions. Both Indore and Rohtak for me were at least 50% was academic questions. So in case you are even if you don't have good marks, at least keep your concepts clear so that you're able to answer those questions. So you can show that, okay, I know the concepts, just that maybe I wasn't able to perform in the exams or something. So they do matter somehow, but not like it's not like we don't have people who have gotten less than 90%. There are people who have gotten less than 90% also. They're there in the batch because they were clear with their concepts. They were able to answer the questions well.
Okay, fantastic. How is the faculty? I think this is something which we kind of missed. And thank you so much, Abhi, for posting that. How is the faculty approachable? Do you get outside like professionals coming and taking lectures? Because that matters. The perspective what you get from them is very different. So, Krisha, if you can take this up.
Sure. So as of now, IIM Rohtak does not have a permanent base for all of the subjects as permanent faculty. Like we have 60-70% as visiting faculty, and that's the best part because in every term, I guess, in every year there are two subjects of computers most probably, and when you have an IITian coming and teaching you the computer subject, what's better, like an IIM teacher or an IITian? Of course, an IITian teacher who teaches the students there will teach you here. When we have subject of law, and a professor from NLU, I guess NLU Bhopal came and taught us. So that's better, I guess, anyway. So that's the best thing, I guess. And the permanent faculty is there. For example, when we have subjects of business organizations or business management related subjects, we have permanent faculty who teaches the MBA students. They teach us. So I guess that's and the professors are like some professors really form good bonds. Some even come to the mess, have dinner with us, have lunch, talk with us, and say that okay, if you have anything to say, I'll come to the library, we'll have a chat. So some professors are really approachable. So that's it. We have a good bond with them.
You have good bond. So yes, professors are approachable. Let's take up next question. What about the boards? Okay, you guys have not mentioned the board. So quickly, Vivan, which board do you come from?
I come from CBS.
Krishay?
CBSE.
Angel?
Yes.
CBSE. Though they all three of them are CBSE, I have students who have done ICSE as well, IB as well. So it's not that particular board is getting preference. No one is getting preference with this particular process. It is just your entrance test, your academics, your communication, the skills, what you kind of have. Those are things really matter. Stream in 11th, 12th being science, would it impact further? What I have seen, I think this is something which I would like to take it up, that when it comes to science, students are concerned now, commerce and humanities. I have students who have a little love-hate relationship with mathematics. Okay. Science students, for some reason, they are good with maths. So if you're a science student, it's nice. It's at least comfortable for you. Baki, humanities and commerce student, they are also doing well. But wo jo important factor hai na maths wala, wo bahut matter karta hai. So yeah, for them, It definitely. And as we talk about maths, we have next question talking about how should a non-math student prepare for an IPMAT exam. Maths से दोस्ती कर के अलावा option नहीं है. Learn the concept well. Make sure you are preparing a little harder because जिनको की दोस्ती होती है ना, they are a little have an upper hand, I would say, because these papers are quant heavy. Maths become a very integral part. I would not say it is quant heavy, it has LR as well, but again, all that thing really matters. So make sure that you are clearing your concept and practicing a lot. These two things would really help. Concept clear or practice, that would help. Now let's talk about what exactly when it comes to the festivals are concerned. Okay, what kind of festivals does Rohtak does to make sure that you guys are exposed, and this is the time when you even learn a lot of skills like the people management skills, because you kind of pull off a whole event altogether and it's all done by students like yourself. So can I get a little insight on the festival, how it is conducted, what and how exactly the whole ball game it is? Vivan, let's start with you.
So, since we have a very diverse batch, we try to celebrate every festival there is. Like, it's a very, we have exams, we have really tight schedule for classes. So, the events are scheduled according to that time. When you find the time, when the schedule is a little lighter, not as dense, we find the time for, festivals. Our journey at IIM Rohtak personally, we began with freshers, which was at the time of Onam. So we celebrated Onam at that time. We also celebrated a prom event that was the first in last year. So events are multiple. I personally am part of a club as Krisha is also. So we learn organization and it's going good. We're learning and you're going to celebrate multiple festivals, and that is really going to form your personality. You're going to get to know about new festivals, different people's cultures, and that will really make you an open person.
So when it comes to the festival is concerned, is everyone kind of by default part of it, Krishay? Or you will have to proactively say that, nay, I want to, you have to kind of be a part of a committee or a festival committee to make sure that you join these festivals.
So the cultural committee, the cultural club, IIM Rohtak organizes the event, and for to be the part of any club or committee, the selection process goes around. So you have to appear for the selection process, be the part of the cultural committee, and the cultural committee organizes all the festivals that are conducted using campus, whether it's Ganesh Chaturthi or any other festival. So the cultural committee has the role to play.
Okay, so students will have to join the cultural committee. What are the committees are available, when it comes to the festival is concerned? Main becomes the cultural committee. उसके नीचे और कोई committees होती?
No, there are no such committees in the cultural committee. There's a cultural committee only that organizes.
Okay.
We actually have a very small number of IIM students, so it's not like a lot of, it has to be done at a very big scale. It's more or less, but other than that, what I have noticed is that a lot of time, like there was Ganesh Chaturthi recently, so there were a couple of people who were very well aware of the rituals that you have to follow during that. So they do end up like helping the cultural committee out. So that does happen.
Okay.
So you end
All
up getting.
right. Great. And how often does this fest happen?
So there's an attempt is made like celebrating all the major festivals of all different cultures. So, like last time we had Dussehra also properly and a Navratri night entirely. How Diwali too, we all get a break only. However, that the students who are in campus, they get a Diwali celebration as well. Other than that, all the major festivals of all major cultures, we try to celebrate.
Okay, so it is something which is a very lively campus. You have some or the other thing happening. That's what I can
Yes.
understand. Fantastic. Now let's talk about something as we are in the last leg. बहुत academic questions, बहुत fun questions हमने answer कर दिए. Tell me something. When does the internship and the placement aspect comes? In the second year, you guys, do you have internship in the first year or it starts in the second year? Just starting with you.
So at the end of first year, you need to go. At the end of first year, you need to go for a rural or social internship, wherein you serving an NGO or serving a social organization. At the end of second year, you will be undergoing a research project, and at the end of third year, you will be doing a business internship. And the placement process is done only in MBA. Like after the MBA, the placement committee is for the same as that of the MBA students. So the place com for IPM and MBA is same. So the placement committee is same, and for the internship committee of IPM is formed. So that's it.
Okay, so that's how it is formed. And when it comes to the internships for the second and the third year, as in you guys are right now in the second year, you will have to enroll post your once you get into the fourth year or the fifth year when the placement starts happening? It's in the fifth year. I mean, just need little clarity on that part for the
Okay,
students.
so the point is when you're in the second year, at the end of second year, when your third year has not begun, you have a 2 month break. In this 2 month break, you have a research project. In when you are in the third year, when your third year ends, before your first year of your MBA starts, before your fourth year, before your first year of MBA starts, again there is a 2 month break. In these 2 months, you need to go for a business internship in a company, and then after that, when you join the fourth year, then your MBA life begins. So that's it.
Okay,
So
that's how it works.
uh,
Okay.
at the end of the third year, before the MBA starts, there's a 2 month break. So
Okay.
internship is there.
Internship is there. And how important is internship, and does Rohtak helps you with internships? Vivan, can you help me with this particular question?
Yeah, so the social internship, the research project, and the business internship, these are the mandatory parts that you have to pursue. But you can personally grow your experience on an individual level. The internship committee that we have, they float internships during the year. We have live projects. You can pursue that on an individual level and create a profile so that you gain the necessary experience to get good internships at the end of the second year. You can build your profile through case competitions. All these aspects, the internship committee helps us with them so that we can build that profile and go further in the corporate world.
Fantastic. Now, I think we covered all the possible aspects for Rohtak, and I have still a lot of questions. So we'll do a quick question where I will ask one by one questions, to one each of you, and let's see, if we are able to answer everything. We have last 5 minutes. How much does Rohtak focus on the balance between studies and extracurricular activities? Does it have weightage on the extracurricular activities? Do the 10th and 12th boards have a weightage, since all the panelists I have seen seem to be 95 plus? Okay, Angel, starting with you. Let's take one part of the question. In your whole, let's say the marking scheme, does extracurricular activities play any role for a student?
For the interview part, I remember the first thing they asked me after like checking all my documents was, show us, I had my certificates with me. They asked me, show us the top three achievements you have, the certificates for that. So they do ask you that. Otherwise, I have seen that we have people who have played sports at the national level, or someone who's a national level debater for that matter. They will ask them questions on that also. Like someone I know was into football. They ask you everything related to football in interviews. They ask about extracurriculars also, and they do play a role because they try to get a holistic perspective of who you are as a person. They don't just want people who are just studying or just doing one thing. They want people who can do multiple things at a time.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. I hope that answers the question. Dibangsh, I have to prepare for IPMAT and prep for my board exams. I am in the 80 percentage wise and I want to end up in the 95. How should I prepare when I'm also a part of a student council, culturals, which genuinely gave me substance regarding managing people and gives me experience? Should I drop them? Pratik, don't drop anything. It is just that you need to sit and do a study plan. If it works for you, I would suggest go ahead and do that. That would definitely help you, because if you are a part of student council, this would something which will give you a lot of meat when you will be talking about it in your interviews. It will give you experiences, it will give you skills like communication, people management, exposure which is required. So do not drop anything. It's just that thoda kam karo agar tumko lagta hai, but that would not make sense. Ketan is asking, I understand different IIMs have different strengths. Could you please highlight what is the strength for Indore and Rohtak? Ketan, what happens is with different IIMs also depends upon what kind of MBA you want. Okay, so let's say Indore would be able to provide you with a X specialization. Rohtak would be able to provide you with an X specialization. Also, to each its own. When it comes to IIM, people also look at what kind of package they would be able to get. I think that is something which goes very clear, right? With my, for example, I want to do my MBA in business analytics, okay, or let's say a marketing. I need to understand which of these IIMs would provide me, because that's what the ball game starts, right? Once you start clearing your third year, you look at the ROI. You start looking at the specialization. You start looking at what kind of specialization and faculty and, exposure, collaborations, all that what is available. So the ball game changes, and that is the reason why you would require a little bit more insight. When it comes to Indore and Rohtak, they both provides MBA, and the specialization what they offer is again 1920 different. What did they do for profile building, and how could they manage time to do it with IPMAT prep? Okay, now this is an interesting question. Vivan, Did you do anything different for profile building? And if you did, how did you manage it?
I was a really academically inclined student till 12th, really academically inclined. So they don't really expect you to have a really stellar profile when you're still a student, when you've not even started college. You're not really expected to have a really, profile that has internships, that has, projects. You're not really expected to have that, but they ask you about your interests. They want to know what else you like. You should have different things that you have done. They don't really delve into your extracurriculars unless you really have that as an integral part of your profile. They don't decide that as factor that if you don't have extracurriculars, you cannot join this college. You just have to have your strengths and back them up.
Okay. Absolutely. I mean, see, there is nothing different you can do when it comes to profile building. प्रोफाइल बिल्डिंग में सिर्फ दो तीन चीजें ध्यान रख कि ये चीज होनी चाहिए, और अगर नहीं है तो थोड़ा टाइम लेके कर लेना. इफ यू गाइस कैन डू पॉसिबली, अगर ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम्स कर सकते हो करो. अगर इंटरेस्ट है तो कोई वर्कशॉप अटेंड कर लो, फ्री में कर लो. स्कूल के थ्रू अगर तो वो करो. अगर स्किल है, जैसे अगर अच्छा गाते हो, डांस करते हो, स्केचिंग अच्छी है, ग्राफिक्स में इंटरेस्ट है, अपनी स्किल्स और अपनी हॉबीज को एनहांस करने करो. And that's what you can do if you are interested. This is what you do for profile building. What my suggestion, which I see a lot of students not really doing it, is adding a charity aspect. Work with a shelter home, work with an old age home. At least एक functioning होता है वो देखो. I think this is what you need to do for actually एक प्रोफाइल देखा जाए तो. बिकॉज अगर आप वो जेन्यूनली करते हो, अगर ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं मैं ये सब नहीं कर सकता, अपने अगर एनिमल्स, इफ यू लाइक एनिमल्स, जस्ट मेक श्योर दैट यू आर पॉसिबली जस्ट लुकिंग अराउंड, एनिमल्स शेल्टर होम में जाओ, उनके साथ टाइम स्पेंड कर लो. आई थिंक इट इज समथिंग which is going to be enough when it comes to profile is concerned. Student council में अगर हो या elocution में part ले रहे हो, all that will definitely help. It's something which will again be a part of your whole, your school curriculum as well. But additionally, तो वो better ही होगा. Let's look at the next one. I have answered this question. Being from Mumbai, which is a better option to choose? Divyank, I just mentioned to you, when it comes to NMIMS ya Rohtak, X ya Y, all that depends upon your profile, all that depends upon which city you come from, all that depends upon what are your choices. Most importantly, what you want, what you is your goal to achieve. So you can't just ask apple or oranges, na? We need to understand what you really want to eat and what exactly your palate is asking for. It is something similar. अगर कोई ऐसे genuinely NMIMS में BBA कर लूँ या हूँ, so the answer would be very simple. अगर MBA eventually करना है तो go ahead, do Rohtak. But if you're planning to kind of look out to do something different for NMI, after 3 years, कि मैं एक दिन एक ब्रेक मैं फिर कैट MBA is not really a priority, NMIMS करूँ. Priority क्या है वो समझना बहुत important है. So I would not be able to answer that question. How much time gap is there between exam of IPMAT Indore and Rohtak? Rohtak happens sometime in the month of May, और 3 महीने precisely बच जाते हैं, 90 days approximately या उससे कम. What did they do for? I think we answered that particular question. We answered this question. I think we answered a lot of questions. I think I have a lot of questions which I need to answer to them. So with this, I just want to thank Angel, Vivan, and Krishay. I will still be waiting back because all those questions are more on the level of a mentor, which I would be able to take it up. But I requested my students to be there with us for an hour, and I'm sure Krishay wants to study. Krishay is a topper, so I don't want to kind of hold him back. I would be there to answer the question and I will be doing it for you. But I just want to take this opportunity to again thank Angel, Vivan, and Krishay for taking out time doing this, for us. And thank you so much. A heartfelt thank you from me and from my students here that you all joined in and gave us a perspective of Rohtak. I just hope a lot of students who have here, they are able to say hi to you all in the next year when they join the campus. And if they join, I'm sure you are fantastic seniors would be able to help them. Thank you. Thank you so much, Angel, Krishay, and Vivan.